All right, so let's review where we left off with xslt. So xslt stands for Extensible Style Sheet Language Transformation and allows us to write a declarative program that allows us to give input XML documents and transform them into different XML documents. Not only the output could be XML, it could be anything you want. It could be SQL, it could be Word, it could be CSV files, could be HTML. You can generate anything you want. And for those that are familiar with CSS in the HTML domain, right? CSS is a smaller cousin, right? It's a younger cousin of xslt, which transforms HTML documents, but for rendering purposes. So we've been using this example input file where we have a list of graduating students that we are trying to transform, and we'll see different examples on how we can transform it, either extracting certain pieces or converting it into a more normalized or denormalized version of the same file. So here's a really simple example that takes that input file and yes, I'm not sharing my screen. There we go. Sorry about that. Can you see my screen? Right, so here's an input xslt file. And notice that it's written as an XML document. And so it's an XML document that's going to have inside embedded other XML. So it's generating XML. And it writes the rules in terms of XML. And its output is also going to be XML that is embedded in the same file. So it needs to be able to distinguish between which XML elements are the program, right, and what XML doc elements are the output, right? So it needs to have some kind of escape mechanism to be able to distinguish between two languages, right? That one is being used for as the program, right, and some of the XML document is used as the template that is being generated. So to be able to distinguish between the two, they use what is called naming, right? Namespaces. So this XSL colon, this XSL colon is used for naming, saying that this element called style sheet is in the namespace XSL, right? To be able to distinguish the two. So here's an example of where if you have as an input, you have this XML document, right? It can pattern match the elements, right? And when the pattern matches, it can generate the output here, right? So this one matches. I think I have there's folks that don't have their mic muted, and we can hear some background noise. So please mute your mic. So we have graduating students. Pattern matches with this graduating students, whereas this student over here pattern matches with this student over here, right? And if it does pattern, if it matches, then it generates whatever is in their body. So here's an example of what that body might look like, right? So if it pattern matches graduating students, it's going to generate a student name element that has as a body inside is the value of student, and student matches the template down below. If it matches, it's going to generate the name. Right, so if you have this input, it generates this output. Right. So let's create a small little tiny program that illustrates this.